Hello everyone. So today is going to be the start of a new reading vlog. I'm going to be reading some historical romances. So I have 3 here that I really want to get to. The first one is The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shupe. I'm very excited to read this one. It is Gilded Age New York, and they are engaged to each other, and she's like waited like years to marry him, and then he all of a sudden is like, no, I'm not gonna marry you. Like, it was an arranged thing. And then I'm gonna want to read this one by Lenora Bell. I really love Lenora Bell, and this is one of her newest releases, I'm pretty sure. Like, it released in 2021, but I've heard really good things about this, so I'm excited to read it. And then the new Diana Quincy book, which is The Marquess Makes His Move. Super excited to read this. I loved the first book in the series, and the heroine is married in that one, and the hero, and she's also a cartographer, like she makes maps, and the hero was like cheated out of like some land, and so then she is like the person who did it, but she like, I don't know, it's like a mystery, and so he decides to become a footman in her house to try to figure out what like happened and like get her attention, but they start having a little romance. So I'm excited to read these 3. I'm gonna read these 3 physically, and then I might listen to a couple books on audio. I don't really know how much I'm gonna get finished, but we'll just see what happens. And I'm hoping to make this a series where I read, well, it's like a 2-part series where I read newer historicals and then older historicals and kind of see what the difference is. Or maybe I do like a series of reading vlogs where I read different decade historical romances and see which decade is my favorite. I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see where this idea is going to go, but I will up to you guys soon. I don't really know which one I want to start with first. I think I either want to start with Diana Quincy's new book or Joanna Shupe, so I'll update you when I start one of them. Hello everyone. So I wanted to update you. I'm about 100 pages in The Marquess Makes His Move by Diana Quincy, and I'm absolutely loving this. It is so good. So our heroine, she's actually a map maker and cartographer, which is like the same thing. And her husband kind of took over her family business of map making, and so she's the one who's been making like all of the maps that he's selling, but he's the one taking credit for her because like during this time a lot of people just didn't want women doing things and having their own businesses and having their own thing or stream of revenue. So she is definitely the one making all these maps, and it's really cool because we get to see her making the maps, and she goes on little adventures where she goes to different parts in London trying to figure out like her notes and stuff, and she'll go down dead end streets just to like make sure that's a dead end, and then she writes it down, and that's helping her create her map. And she's trying to make like a big map of London, which I think is really cool. And so our hero is actually a Marquess, and he was cheated out of land, and he has one of her maps and showing his land, but it was actually somehow he has land missing from that is showing it's like his land, and so he actually is pretending to be a I can't remember what he is. He's a servant. I think, oh, he's a footman, and so he is like undercover being a footman, trying to get information on like what happened and like figure out like what happened with his map and stuff, and he is like figuring out different things. He doesn't know that she's the one actually making the maps, not her husband, and he is actually the footman for her, and so he's like following her around everywhere, and it's so good. It's so cute. I am really enjoying it, and he is the brother of the heroine in the first book in this series, and I loved that book, and it's so fun seeing her character in this one. But I am just loving this book. It is so good. I can't wait to continue reading it. And then I actually started Olivia and the Masked Duke by Grace Calloway on audio, and I'm absolutely loving this so much. So our heroine, it starts out when she was like maybe like 8 or 9, and she like falls out of a tree. And the hero, who is 13 years older than her, saves her, and they kind of strike up this bond / friendship, and he's always been there for her like entire life from then on, just being kind of a brotherly figure, just being there for her, and she has always had a huge crush on him. And so one night she decides to kiss him, and he's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And he's starting to feel feelings for her, and now she, I think, is like 20. And it's really, really good so far. I haven't gotten to the part where she is a spy yet. I'm only, I don't know, like 2 hours into the audiobook, but there's so much angst and chemistry between these two. Like, she, feels so much for him, and he feels a lot for her, but he doesn't want to cross that line, and it would be unsavory, and he is actually looking for a new wife, and it's just so good. I'm really, really loving this. I can't wait to continue on with this audiobook. And then I got some books in the mail that I thought it'd be fun to share with you. So I got Funny Feeling by Tara DeWitt. This is a single dad romance. I can't remember if it's small town. They work together, and I think it's also friends to lovers, like they're like best friends. So I'm super excited to read this. I've heard really great things. I really want to get the hardback of this because it is so gorgeous. It has like this flower stuff on it that I'm really excited for, and it looks really pretty, and I'm excited to read that. And then I grabbed the illustrated covers of the Saints series by Sophie Lark. So I have There Are No Saints, which I'm so excited for this, and the art is so pretty. Sophie Lark has this artist who is doing all of these illustrated versions for her books, and they're just so freaking pretty. I am loving it. Hold on, I'm trying to find a good one. So here's like one. Like, look at how cool that is. I love the artist for this. They're so good. And then I have There's No Devil, and I've been wanting to get these covers for a while, but I held off because I was just like, I don't want to get them right now. And then the perfect opportunity came when she did this artwork for them in the books, and I love the artwork. So I'm super glad I like waited. Here's like a kind of a spicy one. Like, I'm so glad I waited to get these two because I wouldn't have wanted to reorder it just for like the artwork in it. But now I am going to pop in my audiobook and do some cleaning. Every week I do one day where I do a full house cleaning, where I clean the kitchen, the bathrooms, vacuum, mop, all of that stuff, just so I can have a clean home. And I have 3 dogs, and they are messy, and I have a Pomeranian, and she sheds a lot. But we really try to keep her fur pretty short, not where it's like painful for her, but we try to keep it short because if it's not short, then she's gonna get all her fur everywhere. So I am going to be cleaning today. I'm going to try to listen to my audiobook. And then I also have been loving the Archetypes podcast by Meghan Markle. I am obsessed with the royals. I just find them so interesting, and I personally love Meghan Markle, and I think she is so interesting, so I'm going to try to listen to that too, but I will update you guys soon when I have an update. Hey guys, so I wanted to update you. I have read 2 books now, so I'll talk about the first book that I finished, which is The Marquess Makes His Move by Diana Quincy. This was so freaking good. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. So our heroine is a cartographer, and so she had to marry her uncle's like apprentice so that she could basically keep the shop and be able to still make maps, but her husband would take credit for the maps she was making, because in England and high society, she thinks and women don't get the recognition that they deserve, and that people wouldn't want her maps if she was a woman, so she lets her husband take credit for it. And so our hero is actually a new footman in her household, and he's actually a Marquess, which means he's like a higher like standard than her. She is just like a merchant's wife. And so he is pretending to be a footman because he was cheated out of land from her maps, and he is trying to get information on why that happened and kind of like get proof that this happened. And so she becomes his, he becomes her footman specifically, and so he is just always with her, and they kind of strike up a friendship. And he is very different than usual footmen in the way that he kind of just like is openly talking to her and isn't afraid to talk to her about certain things, and it's really good. And they are just like falling in love, and it's so good. There's a lot of twists in this book that I was not expecting. It was so much fun for historical romance because I feel like normally we don't get these twists in historical romance. Of course, I'm not going to tell you because it's a big spoiler, but it was so good. And she doesn't know that he's a Marquess, and that brings an element to the relationship when she finds out. And I just really enjoyed it. I love seeing, I said earlier, like she would take notes on maps, trying to figure out, she's like drawing a huge map of London, and she's drawing a huge map of London, and she would go to like different streets knowing that it was like a dead end so she could write it down, and it was just so good. I really loved her being a map maker. I thought that was very interesting and a cool little added note to the book, and I just love this. And I loved the hero so much. He's just so sweet and wanted to take care of her, and I love that she's like a headstrong woman, but she also is very sensitive, and you know, she has things that she's dealing with personally, not feeling good enough because of what her husband has said to her. And I just really love this. There is no cheating in this book from her part, so just know that going in. And I just absolutely loved it. 5 stars, so freaking good. I also loved, I love this author. I've read the first book in this series, and then I didn't read the second one because I heard people don't really like it, but her main characters have consistently been POCs, and I just love that, and especially in historical romance. And he brought a lot of his traditions from that he's learned from his, sorry, you can hear that, that's Luna, she's sneezing. Luna! Luna, come here. And I just love seeing that in this book. And a lot of the traditions he brought, like he was like, well, we should bring tea with like mint and sage to the household, and that's what he likes to drink in his tea, and just fun little traditions that I really loved. And I love that he was being a servant, and then he was like, oh my gosh, the servants are treated not as I thought they would be, like they are getting not enough food to eat for the work that they do. And I love seeing that, and he ended up like making his servants like being able to eat more and all this stuff. So I really enjoyed this one. And then the other book that I read was Olivia and the Masked Duke by Grace Calloway. This was 5 stars for me. It was so freaking good. I listened to this on audio, and it was amazing. So our heroine Olivia, she has always pined after our hero, and he actually like saves her from like falling in a tree when she's younger. And so she's always been fascinated with him, and he is actually a duke, and he is very mysterious towards her. He has a lot of demons, and he was like married for most like of her childhood, and so she's like, I can never be with him. Always had this like silly crush on him. And so one night she like kisses him and he's like, what the heck are you doing? Very surprised, and she's like, well, I've always loved you my whole life. I want to be with you. And he's like, no, but he feels this attraction towards her, and it's just so good. So much happened in this book though. Sometimes I did get a little lost, but that was my own fault because I wasn't like really paying as much attention to the audiobook as I should have. And so he kind of breaks her heart, telling her like, I can't be with you, like this is never gonna work, like really making sure she knows. And so she was supposed to go back to Scotland. That's where her family lives, and she gets approached by this woman who is a part of this like detective group of women called like the Charlie's Angels, I think. Kind of like reminiscent of Charlie's Angels. And she's like, okay, I'll join the group, but I can't tell my parents. So she joins this group, and she pretends that the woman is like her like, what is it called, supervisor, or like what, like young women always have to have some, like a chaperone. That's the word, chaperone. And once he realizes that she's staying there in London, he's like, oh shoot, like I totally broke her heart, but I need to watch after her because her father asked him to. And so she's going out on all of these secret missions, trying to help like women if they're like cousins cheating on them or like different things. And he keeps seeing her, and he's like, what the heck are you doing? And so he like can't get over his attraction for her, and it's like, if we're gonna be together, you can't lie to me. And she's like, but she also can't tell him that she's doing this thing because she took an oath and all this stuff. And so it's like a very like it's like she can't cross the line. It's really, really good. So much angst. It is age gap. He's like 10 years older than her. So angsty, very, very spicy for a historical romance, and I love that. And it was just really good. I loved the ferocity of how he loved her so much, but he wanted to protect her, and he was scared that she was going to lie to him because that happened in his past relationship. He's like, I can't go back to that relationship, that feeling of that relationship. And so he kept comparing his relationship to his old one and kept getting like freaked out that this was going to happen again. And there was lots of mystery with what she was trying to figure out with her like detective stuff. And I just love this. It was so freaking good. 5 stars. I'm off to such a great start in this reading vlog. So the next 2 books I have that I want to read are The Devil's Own Duke by Lenora Bell, and then The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shupe. So I think I'm going to read The Devil's Own Duke in paperback, and then read the Joanna Shupe on audio. But this one, our heroine owns like a vineyard, and the hero is coming into the picture, and he can actually, he claims to be the distant heir to her father's dukedom, and she's like doing all of the vineyard stuff, and she's like, I don't want that to happen. And so I think they're like betrothed to marry, like she's forced to marry him, and she like absolutely hates him. She's like, I don't want to marry you, all this stuff, and it's very like hate to love, angsty. So I'm very excited to read this. And then the Joanna Shupe, I think I talked about earlier, was a Gilded Age romance. They're forced to marry, and she has been like waiting for him for years for them to marry, and he's like, nope, we're never gonna get married. She's like, well, you wasted all my years of being able to get married, like you didn't tell me this. And so she's so mad at him, and he like has to now like get her to like him again, I think. I don't really quite remember that much about this book, but I'm excited to read these. I think I'm gonna start this right now, so I will update you guys soon when I am reading some more. Hey guys, so I haven't started a new book yet, anything yet. Last night was Friday night, and I just felt like chilling out and watching a movie, but I did want to go through some books that I want to unhaul, a little unhaul for you. I haven't done this on my channel yet, but I wanted to include it in this video. So I'll go through the first ones. So I have Arrogant Devil by R.S. Gray. This is just a rom-com, but I am kind of getting rid of my R.S. Gray books. I just don't really like her books anymore. I haven't read one in a really long time, and I don't know, I just feel like they're all the same. So I'm going to give that away, and then I think I'm going to give The Demon's Bargain by Katee Robert away. This one is just absolutely gorgeous, but I didn't like it, and I don't want to hold on to books that I didn't like just because they're pretty. So giving those away. And then I'm scoring Wilder by Iris Gray. I actually did enjoy this one, but again, I'm just kind of like with her books. I'm just kind of blah. I don't really want to read any more of her books. And this one is a soccer like romance, like football. I mean, he's her coach. Hey guys, so today is Saturday, and I have not started anything yet. Yesterday was Friday when I last updated you. I actually ended up watching the Selena Gomez documentary, and it was so good. Highly recommend if you have Apple TV. It was just so eye-opening and just so beautiful. The whole documentary is really about her mental health and just like health in general, and that she was going through a lot, and I really related to a lot of the stuff she was talking about. I have dealt with mental health before. I feel like everybody has dealt with mental health, and I used to have really bad anxiety, and it's gotten a lot better. I take medicine for it, and I do like little coping mechanisms and stuff, but it was really hard, and it was a really like dark point in my life, and just feeling like very anxious all the time, and like feeling like I can't catch my breath. And so I just related to a lot of what she talked about in the documentary, and I just loved seeing her, and I have loved her forever since she was on Wizards of Waverly Place. Like, I love that as a kid, so I just loved it. But anyways, I wanted to do a little unhaul with you. I have some books that I'm going to be unhauling from my library, and I just wanted to share them with you, so I thought it would be like a fun little thing to do from our regular content in a vlog. So the first book that I want to unhaul is Arrogant Devil by Iris Gray. I am unhauling a lot of my Iris Gray books. I don't think I have any more. Well, I have like 4 more, but besides these 4, I don't think I have any more, but I'm just not really interested in reading Iris Gray anymore. I liked a couple of her books. Now I'm just kind of meh, and I don't feel like reading her books. And this one, I think it's like a ranch romance, and it's, I don't know, it's like they hate each other, all that kind of stuff. And then this is Scoring Wilder. This was the first one I read from her. I liked it. I just don't recommend it at all, and I don't love it, so I'm just like, meh, I don't really want to keep this. This is a coach-player romance. And then I have The Fox and the Hound. This is like a veterinary romance. And then I have The Fortunate Ones, which is like a billionaire romance, and the heroine, she's like a golf cart girl. And then I have The Allure of Dean Harper. This is an office romance. So those are the Iris Gray ones I want to give away. And then I have The Demon's Bargain by Katee Robert. I got this recently from Katee Robert's Patreon, and I read it and didn't love it. And I just don't want to hold on to books that I'm not going to love, because I'm really trying to grow my library, and I want to have books that I actually love on my shelves. So I'm going to either give this away or like sell it to half-price books. That's what I do with a lot of my books, except if I get ARCs. Physical ARCs, I don't ever sell them, because I think that's kind of wrong. Or if somebody gives me like a book or whatever, I don't sell it, I'll donate it. And then I'm giving some of my Charlie Rose books away that I have of hers. I'm just not that interested in reading her books anymore. I have Misbehaved, which is a teacher-student romance. When I read it, I was like, I thought it was okay. And then I have Bad Habit, which I liked. And then I don't know where the other one is. I know I have another one, but I'm going to give away Nowhere But Here. This is a YA motorcycle romance, and I did really enjoy it when I read it. I just am kind of steering away from YA at the moment. I'm only really reading fantasy YA. I'm not really in the mood to read any YA that's like contemporary or whatever like that. I'm just like not interested anymore. And I actually have Divergent by Veronica Roth. This was one of my favorite books like years ago, and I just loved Theo James, and I loved the first movie. Is the best movie. And I loved reading this book, but then the series went definitely downhill, and I was just like so disappointed. But I did really enjoy this book, and I got my use out of it, so I'm going to give that away. And then I have the Miracle Morning book. This was like a self-help book I read like years ago, and I don't know why I still have it on my shelf. But I'm going to give that away. And then I have Bound by Hatred by Cora Riley. I'm giving some of my Cora Riley books away because I'm just like not that interested in her as an author. So this was like Gianna's story, and it's like Hate to Love. I found it kind of boring and a little disappointing. So I'm giving that away. And then I have Dark Lover by J.R. Ward. So I actually got one of the original-ish copies, like covers of this book. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to keep that. I found it at Half Price Books, and so I'm like, I'm just going to give this one away because I don't really need 2 copies of it, and I like the other cover better. And then I have Between Wrath and Mercy by Jess Wisecup. So I tried to read this. I got like halfway through, and I just wasn't loving it. This is her first book, and it definitely felt like a first book to me. Like the characters, I liked them, but I just didn't feel like the flow of the story was really well for me. Like it felt really slow and kind of drawn out. So I don't want to hold on to that. And then I have Thoughtless by S.C. Stevens. This is an older one. It's a love triangle, and I did like it when I read it, but I just am never going to reread it again or recommend it, so give that away. And then I have Autobiography by Christina Lauren. This is a YA MM romance. I did enjoy it. Again, I just don't want to hold on to any more YA books. Even if I enjoyed them, I'm just never going to reread them or like talk about them on my channel, so I just don't really want to hold on to them. And then I have these like random 3 books that I just like got from like a thrift store because I liked the colors of them. I don't even know what they're about, so I'm just like giving them away. They're just different colors, and I don't really care to hold on to them. And then the next book I have is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I liked this one, but I don't think I'm ever going to reread it or show it on my channel or recommend it because I liked it, but I don't think it's like the best romance ever. And so I just don't want to hold on to it. And then I have The Summer Games, another R.S. Gray book. This is like an Olympics rom-com book. And then I have Bad Influence by Charlie Rose. Giving this away. I don't really know what this is about. I think it's like maybe a bully romance. And then I have How to Date a Douchebag by Sarah Ney. I liked this when I read it, but I have no recollection of it, and I don't think I'm ever going to reread it or recommend it, so giving that away. And then I have Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. Now that I think about it, I really did not like this book. I did not like how Colleen tried to make you like somebody who basically like left somebody to die. So I just didn't like this book. I found it very disappointing, and I didn't really like the romance, so I'm going to give this away. But that is my unhaul. And usually what I do with unhaul books is I'll put them away in like a spot, and then just like keep collecting them, because I don't really do like big unhauls, like going through all my books. I kind of do more like little unhauls and then like hoard all the books away until I'm ready to go donate them or like sell them to Half Price Books or whatever. So that's what I'm going to be doing with these until, because I like to do like big batches of books. I don't want to have to go to Half Price Books like multiple different times. But yeah, that is the books I'm unhauling, and I'm going to get some reading done today. It's Saturday. I have to do a couple errands. I'm going to Target to get some cleaning products because I'm out of some of them, and then I'm going to go to Home Depot to try to see a Christmas tree, like to see what fake Christmas trees they have to get an idea, because I want to do a fake Christmas tree this year instead of a real one, because last year they had a shortage, and I don't know if it was everywhere, but it definitely was in St. Louis, and the one that we got was very, very small, and I was very disappointed. So I'm going to do that, and then I have to go to Walmart, and then I have to go to Home Office Max, I think that's what it's called, to get some printer ink. But that is kind of my day, and I will get some reading done, and I will update you guys soon. Hello everyone, so I wanted to give you an update. So I don't remember the last time I updated you, but I am about halfway through the Devil's Own Duke, and I'm really enjoying it. So it is a hate to love romance, and our heroine met the hero at a ball, and they had this like kiss together, and then she comes out to find out that he is the supposed long lost heir to the dukedom, and her father is a duke, and her father doesn't want to remarry, and so he is like, okay, well, if he's gonna be the heir, then we're good. I don't have to remarry someone. So sorry if you can hear the dogs fighting in the background, but so she's furious because she knows he is a known scoundrel. He owns a gaming hell, and she's just so angry at him, and it's like, you are not gonna win. And they have this like chemistry and tension between each other. She's very, very angry at him because she has her vineyards, and she's like, well, I don't want you to take that away from me because I'm doing really well, and I want to be able to expand my business. This has been like my life's work. I'm never gonna get married. And so that's where we're at right now. They haven't gotten together or anything yet. I'm on page like 153, but I am really, really enjoying this. It is so good. And I love all of the characters in this. I love the heroine. She like went into his apartments trying to like find evidence, and he caught her, and there was kind of an angsty scene there. So I really enjoyed it. And I actually finished The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shupe. I absolutely love this one. I'm going to give it 5 stars. I listened to it on audio. Bruiser, come here. Come here, buddy. Come here, Bruiser. She's been too loud for me. But, so this one, our heroine is, I think I told you earlier that she has been waiting like years, well, like a year to marry the hero, basically. And so when she finally meets him, it's like, when do you want to get married? He's like, what are you talking about? And so for him, he thought the contract was void, and so she wasted a year of her life waiting for him. And so she is so angry at him, and it's just like, like done with him. And so she decides, well, I'm gonna have an affair. So she goes to this like raunchy ball in New York, and she meets this guy, and she has an affair with him, but they are in costumes, so she doesn't see his face. And then she finds out that it's a hero, and so they're like, wow, we have some angstiness. And he absolutely hates her father because he thinks that her father left his father kind of in the lurch with money. And so they start this relationship, and he's starting to get to know her, but he wants to hate her because he hates her father so much. And it's really good. And the coolest thing that happened in this book, they referenced Lake George, which I actually have a family lake house there, and I read the acknowledgements, and she was like, wow, a lot of the like high upper class went to Lake George, which is in the Adirondacks. It's such a beautiful lake. But I actually have family that on my mom's side who like built this house on the lake in the early 1900s, and we've had it since the early 1900s. So that's kind of cool. And they reference the Sagamore, which is this like famous hotel in the small town of where my lake house is, and so that was kind of fun because my family has like a lot of history there. So that was kind of cool, and I was like, oh my gosh. But anyways, I really love this. It was so dramatic at times. It was very like back and forth. She's like, I hate him, but I love him, and I really thought that was fun, and the audiobook was amazing. So I'm gonna give this one 5 stars. I've had such a good reading vlog so far, and I'm hoping to finish the Lenora Bell book today and then give you a full update and finish out this vlog. But it's going really well, and I'm really enjoying all of the books I've been reading. So I will update you guys soon when I hopefully finish the Lenora Bell book. Hey guys, so I'm going to be finishing this vlog. I finished 4 incredible books. I gave them all 5 stars. So let me start with the Lenora Bell book, because I just finished this 2 nights ago, and I haven't updated since. But The Devil's Own Duke, this was amazing. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. So good. Our heroine, I kind of talked about it earlier, but what happened next is that they got into a marriage of convenience where she was like, okay, I know you're gonna like ruin my vineyards, and so I'll just marry you, because then we'll make a pact where I can keep my vineyards, and then you can do your thoroughbred, like his racehorsing business, but he won't like tear it out, or he'll give her 6 months to kind of prove it to him like this is a good business, her vineyards. And so they slowly start to fall in love, and she's trying to prove to him that like her vineyards matter. And it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I love the heroine. I think she's so funny and witty and just such a great character. And the hero, I loved seeing his backstory, which was really interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but it was pretty interesting. And I just really liked this book. I enjoyed it a lot. I love Lenora Bell's heroes. They just care so much for the heroine. So I absolutely adored this. And then I read The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shupe. I updated you on this and finished it, giving this one 5 stars as well. So good. Hate to love, angstiness, very spicy for historical, and I just really love this one. It was so much fun. It's a little more modern than the other 2, because it's kind of in like maybe like a 60-year time jump. Usually like the historical set in England are in like the early 1800s, but this one was set in the late 1800s, like 1890s, so it was a little bit more modern, but I really enjoyed it. And then I read The Marquess Makes His Move. This one was so good. 5 stars. Loved it. Our heroine is a map maker, and I love that little aspect, and the hero is pretending to be a footman so that he can get information on why he was cheated out of land from one of her maps, but her husband takes credit for her maps, and I really enjoyed this. I loved the angstiness of it, like they couldn't really be together, and she doesn't love her husband, and she was starting to have feelings for the hero. And there were some wild twists and turns in this one that I really enjoyed. And then the last one I listened to on audio. I listened to The Bride Goes Rogue on audio too. That was really good. And I also listened to Olivia and the Masked Duke. This is a new favorite historical. These are all new favorite historicals, by the way. 5 stars again. And this was just incredible. It felt a little bit different from the regular historical romances because it's indie, and it had a little bit more spice and felt a little bit more, maybe not as flowery as some historicals, but still had that like historical vibe, you know what I mean, like that normal historicals do. Not that like this is a normal, it's a total normal historical, but anyways, I love this one. It's age gap, angsty goodness. She has to keep a secret from him, and he's like hates secrets, and so she feels really guilty about it, and it's just so good. very, very spicy. Well, not very, very spicy, but pretty spicy. And I really enjoyed it. I love this. I cannot wait to read more from this author. But I had such a good reading vlog. It was so much fun. I read so many amazing books. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon.